the way, we got a third round that is all queued up and ready to go. We got we got Sueño Impossible. I almost said oh no. I was like, oh, am I gonna be able to pronounce this? But that is that. Now, now there is definitely a player in DmeZ. It is a literal blank name or just a space there. You're not being mystified. There are in fact 4 players. I'm gonna have some questions there, but that is what we have for these two teams out of Group J here. And just to give you the records here, both teams 2-0 by the way, Cake. So what winner this one? Great White Brackets bound. The other one down to Hammerhead. So I think needless to say, there are technically a lot at stake here for the 2-0 teams coming into the last round of groups.
Yeah, most definitely. And just looking at like the people on these teams, I see Nilla, I see Minty, I see Lox. Those are names that if you've been around for a bit, you've definitely like seen them before. So these are not people who are new to this type of pressure of needing to win this last set to be put in the highest bracket of our tournament. But the pressure will be there nonetheless, so we will need to see how they combat this pressure to take the spot for Great White.
You know, it's obviously a weekly tournament, but it's always going to feel good in a weekly tournament takes to get a high place, because I imagine, oh, it's like, hey, we placed pretty high, I imagine, in these weekly tournaments, and you can just feel good by the end of it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I definitely have had experiences where I play weekly tournaments and like I don't qualify for like the upper bracket, and I definitely feel like I'm bad about myself because I'm just like, I feel like I should have won. Like, I wanted to be in the higher bracket. I don't like that I lost. So I definitely think just the thought of not wanting that feeling will definitely be a driving force for these two teams.
And I'm sure both teams are absolutely are just absolutely wanting to see if they can get to that Great White bracket instead of having to worry about playing through Hammerhead as about to queue right in again. Both teams 2-0, so chance competing at the Great White brackets now in play as about to queue right into this one here. Anything that strikes out to you weapon wise as we load right in?
Another Flux. This is the first time in 2026 you've seen not one Flux but 2 Fluxes back to back in tourney. You should rejoice. But another thing we're seeing Gluga. I've been hearing like a lot of Gluga has I've been hearing a lot of praise for Gluga for a while, so it's really nice to see it pop up in tournament. And my specialty, Heavy Edit Splatling, it's lovely to see it like on the big stage.
I will probably talk to you about. I'll probably ask you a lot about that about Heavy Edit gameplay down the road. But right now, Sueño Imposible is about to pull right through there. But they did lose 2 members of their own. It's going to be Mink that also gets 1, and it's just going to be the 1 member there. It's just the poor Heavy Edit that has to run for their lives here, as that is going to be the zones cap going the other way. DmeZ does get that cap there, as they. Hey, that's a pretty solid start for them, about less than a minute into this one, but now it's time for DmeZ to see if they can fight back there. They got a crab tank. Trip strikes are being used right now. See if they can pressure Sueño Impossible out of there, but that is going to be, I think, that is going to be Pink Puppy. Femi just got 1 out the door, and a couple of members have also dropped, but they're going to get dropped here by Metro. Metro gained the pick, but the Booyah Bomb should be able to neutralize it. Potentially, no, there's the ink that's being supported there, but they throw out a second Booyah Bomb as well. All of that being said and done, the Battle of Booyah Bombs, it is 44-47. The double Booyah Bomb is able to get it back for Impossible, and that was almost a lead swap there, Cakes, with 3:20 left.
Yeah, DmeZ definitely putting on a very valiant fight and trying their best to keep the zone in their favor, but you know, Impossible just has a Flux on their team. They have a Flux and they have an Edit, 2 weapons that paint a whole lot, so it's definitely going to be hard to outpaint the Impossible in a paint-off. But looking at the compositions, we have a 52 and a Bucket on the side of DmeZ. 2 weapons that are like known for like their fighting power, so I'm really like worried with like the Flux and the Edit. Can we survive these dives if they go in? But it's not like we have to worry too much because Strike's coming out, but it's not like there's enough time for them to get these set up to have these dives come in for those like vulnerable weapons. They're just going to win. So that's game 1 going to Impossible.
And yeah, Impossible just kind of just decided. Well, there were definitely a lot of thoughts that they could have had there at the end, but Impulsible was just like, no, we're not. I don't think we're going to entertain any possibility of this happening here. We do get to see the quick little replay there, and I think the way that this is all kind of playing out there, so you lose the 52, they splash the pencil, and everybody else is kind of just stuck very far in the back from what I see. There is the trip strike that's just thrown. One hits the wall. I think was just a poorly missed throw rather for them, but it was just more or less unfortunate of anything. And also that was a pretty solid game one here, and now we get to see the mode that we have yet to see in this tournament so far. That is Clam Blitz, but this time it's going to be on Scorch Gorge here, Cakes, and anything that kind of sticks up to you from the previous set of weapons that you saw as we that you could see back in Clam Blitz.
Honestly, I haven't really played a lot of Flux on Clam Blitz when I did play it a whole lot, so I'm a little worried about like how it will play on that map. But Edit is pretty good on Clam Blitz, and I know Gluga has like that wall to just set up and hold positions, whether it be by the right side grates or playing in front under the basket. It's definitely going to be able to hold its ground, and well, S-Blast is S-Blast, so you know it's just going to be good.
Yeah.
The Crab and the Pen from DmeZ are definitely going to have a field day with the amount of high ground and spots that they can hold to be able to chip and put damage into the space of Impossible. But I also think that with the bucket and the Gallows wall, they'll be able to either not play for that as much and be slow, and they can just walk, because they have two weapons that are pretty quick and can just go in and like do a bunch of damage and find a bunch of picks.
What are the so I'm always kind of curious leaning this one. I think you noted there too, the 52 can just move up with the wall along with the bucket that can help so that can pretty much help surround them. I'm always when I come into these best of threes, like, all right, I want to see what changes they want to make here, and unfortunately with the sample size being really rough here with just the one game we see and only two more opportunities to see any adjustments, I'm always wanting to see what both teams want to dish out here in Scorch Gorge Clam Blitz, but of course, as a person who is a bit bad at reading weapons here and with on short sample sizes to say the least here, Cakes, it's always going to be it gets a little intriguing for me and also rough for me at the same time. So we're about to load right into this one here. What? That isn't it. Okay. Whoa, hey, there is an interesting weapon choice. That's okay. Hello, Puppy Family. I think I'm going to remember that third kid also knows, because that usually never gets airtime from what I've seen.
I've never seen this in tournament before, so if you're in chat and you're seeing this too, this is probably both our first time. But this H3 with Suction Bomb and Strikes, from what I've heard and what I know, it gets a lot of strikes. So we're gonna be seeing like a lot of strikes this game, and especially since like Clam Blitz can either be a really fast game or a really slow game, like either way these strikes are gonna get value. But we're definitely having another issue where this is a weapon that's susceptible to being walked down. Its fighting power is not the greatest, but there's two weapons on the enemy team that are just really good at fighting. The sword and this bucket, you're really gonna have to cover for your H3 here, because they're not gonna be like that versed on like the fighting side of things.
I was about to ask, as the first points on the board were there for DmeZs. How does this H3 kit play into the rest of the weapons that Impossible is kind of dishing out?
Honestly, probably for a lot of bomb spam and just to like paint over where they want to go. You have decent range, and with the newly buffed damage, hitting 2 shots will hit you 90 damage, but it could still be, since you're so slow, it could still be a little hard to reposition once you get caught. So playing from as far as you can and hoping that your teammates are taking the attention for you so you can hit your 90 damage or hit that one shot very cleanly will probably be the go-to.
Yeah, and the lead already changing right now for Impossible. Oh, that's another wipeout, by the way. That could be an extended push here. If they can get the clams in on time, there is going to be people that are supporting them with the clams, and they'll get full control. They'll get full control of this basket here, as the Puppy Family was trying to fight with them, and that is going to buy themselves some time to throw in one more clam. And Cosmos, who has none, is going to get wiped out just like that. But that damage was basically already done, and Sueño Imposible able to break through and get the lead, completely swap the other direction. Now there's one clam left that can be spawned here for the power clam there from Ellie, excuse me, and that will be that will be them getting that power clam ready to go. But they have thrown out the cooler there. I think they're just trying to look for the space to be cleared out. And so far, I think they're just playing this one a little patiently here. Cakes, tap shot from Money is going to help them out. That is actually going to be 2 members that have dropped. Metro used the crab tank. And I think this could be an opening here for DmeZ to get a push started here, Cakes.
Yeah, definitely going back to what I said before the match, how after they got wiped out, after Impossible got wiped out, the space was immediately taken, the plat was already purple, and then they just had to stall for time to get their pen, to get their splash set up in the space, and we're already seeing the scores be really competitive, only 30 points on the board, and there's only a couple more points to be had for DmeZ to be able to take the lead. The Sword finding the pick, the Gluga checking the Sword and making sure that they can't score anymore with their 7 clams. It would have been really bad if they were able to get those clams in. But Gluga with that wall, with that 2-shot, just like a Gao, just holding the space and being really threatening, just keeping them out. They get another go, Impossible gets another go at keeping the lead, but they're gonna really have to make sure that they can keep their numbers up and get a push in and get clams off of DmeZ if they want to keep their lead secure.
Yeah, and exactly what you know, there's going to be 2 members that have dropped, by the way. This is going to be another possible opening here from DmeZ there, as they are trying to move forward with this group. That's going to be delayed 3, and I think they got to pop the bubble there, so that is going to protect the rest of the group. I think they're playing this one very patiently right now, as that Fitting Clam pretty much piked up here so they can get another one in. There's the power clam jump that is going to get jumped in with a quick lead change here. About 1 minute and 2 seconds left to go on the clock, and DmeZ able to swipe lead. There's still plenty of time, though. They're going to get another free clam in the mix for Sueño Imposible here, and Tuna's able to use that heavy edit, able to get some coverage here. The blue bomb also going to be popped as well, throwing it to enemy base. They have 2 power clams that so far doesn't quite break through for lead. They're going to need at least 4 small clams to see if they can swing lead the other direction here. And 33 seconds left to go here. This is going to be a very tense finish. If Impossible is able to break through, they might be able to do it with that pick.
Yeah, definitely. And we're already seeing these points on the board, and that's just a KO. We scored a clam. We got all the clams. It might seem like luck, but that entire time setting up for like the last 30 seconds, they tried their best not to die. Nobody was dying. They just kept their clams. I think a big thing that happens in Clam Blitz is you pick up clams and you die with clams. So whenever it's time for you to push, you have no clams for your clam economy. But they really have those clams. You can see in this replay, they have 18 clams here. A power clam plus, they had 2 power clams and some extra. And they can just throw all of those in really swiftly, and there's no time to stop them.
So much that was cleared right there. The bubble also there to help protect Impossible on top of it too, and that's just one of those situations where they just played that you mentioned before. They just held onto the clams. They just played their cards right in that situation, and that's just kind of how it all plays out. As unfortunately for your folks in Guy, they're gonna have to play through Hammerhead. It looks like with that one, but that it be what it be there. As we move into Group J for there, that's DmeZ dropping this one. That will effectively mean they will play at the Hammerhead bracket side. Great White brackets will be Sueño Impossible being the group to come out of being the team out of this group, excuse me, going into Great White brackets. And